Hello! Welcome to the video we're making for today. This is week 1, day 1 of Operation Change Springfield. We started this off on Saturday morning. We had a group of about 15 people in the gym and we watched the documentary called That Sugar Film. And one part of this film that I really enjoyed was the guy who made the documentary took a bunch of so-called healthy foods and actually showed how many teaspoons of sugar you will find in this healthy food. So I thought for those of you guys, the rest, I think we're up to 100, or no, I'm sorry, this morning I think the email went out to 204 people. So we're getting close to that 300 goal. So keep sharing this with people if you can. But what I wanted to do was, for those of you guys who weren't able to see the film, show you guys the hidden sugars in some of these foods that are marketed as healthy to us, and maybe give you guys some inspiration or motivation. This is in no way meant to cut anyone down who eats these foods. I just want this to be a nice eye-opening experience for you guys. So I went to the store and purposely tried to pick out foods that are marketed as healthy or part of a well-balanced diet, and show you guys how much sugar is actually in these. Part of today's email also, your assignment was to start reading ingredient labels, and that's part of it too, is looking at actually how much sugar is in there. And another thing to pay attention to is when you do read an ingredient label, when you start to read the ingredients are always listed from the most prominent ingredient to the ingredient that has the least amount in the food. So even if maybe it's not clear how much sugar is in something or how much added sugar is in something, you can read through the ingredients, and if it's in the top, near the top of the ingredients, or the first few that are listed, you know that's one of the main ingredients. But they're also coming out with a new food label, which is wonderful. It's another step in the right direction that's going to show the added sugar grams, which is very important. So one thing I'd like to talk about first as kind of a disclaimer is, yes, there is sugar in fruits, vegetables, but that doesn't mean those are bad sugars. If you eat them as whole foods, your body will naturally respond and be full when it should be if you're eating it as a whole food. If you're taking 5 apples and putting them in a juicer, we're getting rid of all of the fiber that makes you naturally feel full. I guarantee you could down a glass of 4 or 5 juiced apples, but there's no way you could eat those, because nature has given us a perfect package of fruit and vegetables that already have the fiber in them to let us know when we're full and let us know when we've had enough for what we need. So when we juice things or blend things up, it takes all of that out of there. You're still getting the nutrients, but that switch is turned off from when we're full, and really all it is just sugar spiking our insulin up. So when we have a lot of sugar in our diets or in the meal, our blood sugar gets spiked up, we feel really good, we get some good energy, but then as soon as that starts to wear off, we get a big drop, and that's when you feel that crash mid-morning or mid-afternoon or right before bed, and you want to go reach for something sweet, something quick, something crunchy, typically something carbohydrate-based, which carbohydrates are sugars. So just something to think about. So I've actually got a bag of just plain sugar here, and I've got my tablespoons and teaspoons and a plate, and we're going to just actually dole out how much sugar is in all of these things. So one thing to think of before we start, 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon of sugar. So when you read your ingredient label, 4 grams of sugar will equal 1 teaspoon, which is not very small. This is quite a bit. So I wanted to start with, this is just a morning time juice. It even says Green Goddess, feel good about what's in this bottle, A and C antioxidants, all this good healthy stuff. It's 100% juice, right? So it must be healthy. But like I was saying, we've taken out all the fiber. So this is good. You're still gonna get nutrients from it, but what it's doing is spiking your blood sugar so high, and that puts your body into not fat burning mode. This is gonna be fat gaining mode, right? We don't wanna be in that. Now, those of you fitness people out there, we can use this to our advantage, spiking the insulin during a hard workout or immediately post-workout, but I'm talking about just general health today. So in this bottle alone, we've got 26 grams of sugar in here, which is gonna equate to 6.5 teaspoons. So I'm actually gonna push these to the side. So just in this bottle here, our healthy juice, I am gonna dole out the amount of sugar found in this bottle. So you can see on this plate here, we've got 1, 2, 3, I'm not overfilling these, 4, 5, 6, and a half. So just alone in this healthy drink, I don't know if you can see that big pile of sugar. This is up pretty high if you can't see. That is what you'll find in here. And it is naturally occurring, but like I said, that's going straight to your insulin, which we do not want. So I'm gonna empty that in here. So there's our first shake. Now, these are probably more popular. This is the Naked. And one thing I want to point out on here, they made sure to throw in protein. Protein, it must be healthy, right? We're going to build some muscles, recover well. Yeah, it's good to have protein in there, but let's take a look at what's on here. Also, one other thing, no sugar added. Again, just kind of bringing home the point here. So on the back of here, what do we have? We've got 67 carbs, which is quite a bit, and of those carbohydrates, 53 grams of sugar in just this drink here. And that brings us to 13.25 tablespoons of sugar. So this might take a second here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.25. So just alone in this drink, 13.25 teaspoons of sugar that we're getting in our bodies. Now, if this is your breakfast and you're going for this first thing in the morning, you might be getting a lot of nutrients, but you're going to feel pretty terrible a while after you've had this, and it probably won't take very long for you to feel terrible or hungry afterwards. So let's keep moving on. So another breakfast item that to me looks like it was marketed as trying to be healthy. We've got breakfast on the go, a nut and berry blend, which would seemingly be healthy. And I just want to show you guys, get this out of the way, how tiny this package is. So this is filled maybe to about there. And this is small. If you look at, I don't even have big hands, but this thing's hardly even filled. And in just this package here, we have 17 grams of sugar, which is equal to 4.5 teaspoons. So let's measure that out. In this tiny little package, we've got 4 1/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. All of that sugar, it's hard to see on camera how big this pile actually is in this tiny, tiny bag. Get this open here, get the air out so you guys can see. So this is all that we've gotten here of nuts and dried fruit that have sugar added to them and some yogurt covered raisins. In this tiny package, we have all of this sugar here. So again, probably not the best way to start your day. You're not going to feel very satisfied, very full, be hungry very quickly after. And if that's all you're eating for breakfast, I feel very bad for you. So let's move on, another type of snack item. Now this might surprise some of you guys. We've just got some yogurt here, Prairie Farms. It's And this is pretty much the same with all of the brands, but it says excellent source of calcium, vitamin D, good source of protein, 99% fat-free, must be healthy, right? Let's look at the label here. So we've got 26 grams of sugar in this tiny little container of yogurt here. So let's see. So that equals 26 grams would be 6.5 teaspoons. And this is a little alarming to see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. And I know there is some added sugars in here, obviously, from the flavoring and the strawberries that are in there. Dairy is considered a sugar. It converts really quickly into your body to sugar. So you could argue that, again, this is naturally occurring sugars, but again, it's going to spike that blood sugar. This is a lot of sugar to be having in just one little snack. So let's move on to maybe some other items here that might be a little more of a hidden sugar. Oh, real quick. I see this commercial on TV all the time, and it drives me nuts. This is Nutella. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but they advertise this as a great way to get your kids to eat breakfast, and they spread this lather all over a piece of toast. So in a serving size, which is 2 tablespoons, which is this guy here, 2 of these, which is not very much. I'm sure we all would use way more than that if we actually measured this out. In 2 tablespoons, we have 21 grams of sugar, and this is not naturally occurring sugar like you'd find in these drinks or the yogurt. So this is all added sugars. So let's dole that out. And I know this is going to take a while. Let's see, so 21 grams in 2 tablespoons. We have 5.25. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.25. This is, keep in mind, this amount of sugar I can fill up. I barely got any in there, and that's about 1/2 of a tablespoon already. In 2 tablespoons of this is that much sugar. So pretty much everything you're eating in here is straight sugar. So this is not a good way to get your kids to eat breakfast. Please do not put this on toast and give it to your kids. They're not going to focus in school. That blood sugar is going to crash. They're going to be tired, not want to pay attention, be hungry again. Just not a good way to go. It'd be way better off with some eggs and some vegetables. All right, let's move on. So I thought this was interesting. So what we've got here, this is a chicken sandwich maker. I don't know if you can see that there. So it's meat, right? So meat shouldn't have sugar. Maybe it's in some type of sauce, but it wouldn't be too bad. So we've got chicken with barbecue sauce. So let's look on the back here. We have in half of the tray, and let me show you guys how big this is. So in the whole tray, so this is not very big, if you can tell, okay? Not even very deep. This is tiny, tiny, tiny on the bottom. So that's about how big we are. So in this whole container, we've got 20 grams of sugar in here, which is 5 teaspoons. So let's dole that out for this tiny little bit of meat that we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teaspoons of sugar covering this plate in this tiny, tiny serving of so-called meat. Okay, this is just not good. Why not just have chicken? All right, let's keep moving on. Next up, let's see. So this is another breakfast or snack item. It even says on the box, nutritious morning energy, quick start, goodness baked in, good source of vitamin B, good source of fiber. Okay, this must be good, right? This will give me some good energy. I'll stay full. Let's see how big these are. Oh, teeny tiny, as always. So let's look on here. What do we have? So in one package of these 6 tiny, tiny crackers, we have 15 grams of sugar, which is 3 3/4 tablespoons in just these. So let's see. And those crackers probably don't have much sugar in them. Probably a little. 2, 3.75. And that's probably a lot of that in the filling and a little bit in the crackers too, because they are a cinnamon roll flavor. But that's a lot of sugar for this tiny little snack that's not even going to keep you full. This would just make me hungrier. I'd almost rather not eat than have something like that. So lots of sugar hidden there. Again, it's supposed to be a quick start for your day for breakfast. That's just sad. You could save money and save yourself from having some icky sugar and just have some whole foods, some meat, some fruit, some vegetables, and avoid all of that. Here's another food, and this goes for all cereals. This was just one that I grabbed because it looked healthy. So this is a oats and almonds granola. It's probably the smallest box of cereal I've ever seen. But again, 32 whole grains, heart healthy. On the back it says get a strong start, fuel up on goodness, all this stuff on here. So just trying to make it sound super healthy. So in a half cup, which if you guys have not weighed and measured your food, if you have before, you know how small a half cup actually is, especially for something like this. And let's be real, if I'm going to eat this, I'm going to have probably 1.5 cups or 2 cups. Filling up your cereal bowl in the morning, there is no way. I'm going to just estimate. A half cup's usually about a handful like this, so eyeball a half of a cup. So if this is my half cup, which I weigh and measure my food every single day and have for years, I just am kind of geeky like that and like to know exactly what's going in. But this is nothing. This is food for the birds. So this is the amount we're looking at for one serving. And if you've got a bowl of cereal you're going to eat in the morning, like I said, you're probably going to have 3 to 4 times this amount without even thinking about it. So in a half of a cup in this serving here, we've got 10 grams of sugar. So that's 2.5 teaspoons. So 1, 2, ooh, got some in my eye, and then a half. So you can kind of see the comparison here. And just that little bit, that's how much sugar we have. So this stuff is just coated in sugar. And like I was saying, you're probably not going to have just that for breakfast. You're probably going to have a lot bigger bowl or a bigger serving of that. So if we have 3 times that amount, which is still not very much, that's going to be 30 grams of sugar and 7.5 teaspoons of sugar. That's quite a bit. So dump that to the side. Let's keep going here. So again, this is a lot of things. At times I see people eating these trying to be healthier, which is, I've got it's an oatmeal apple walnut flavor, which sounds like it should be healthy. Oatmeal plus sweet diced apples, cranberries, walnuts, and multigrains. Let's see. So in this tiny little package, we have 22 grams of sugar. And this thing feels like it's only filled to about here. So 22 grams of sugar, that's 5.5 teaspoons. I'm not going to measure this one out because I still have a little bit more to go. Lastly, this is a teriyaki chicken sauce for, I think, slow cookers or just to put on your chicken or in your dishes. And I just thought it was kind of ironic how they played it with a bunch of vegetables, trying to make this look like it could be something healthy. So in this package we have 4.5 servings. One serving is a 1/4 cup, and in one serving, and let me just show you guys again, this is only filled to there, so this is not much stuff to put on your food. So in a 1/4 cup, we've got 10 grams of sugar and 2.5 teaspoons. In this whole giant container, that means we have 45 grams of sugar and 11 11 1/4 teaspoons. That's quite a bit. And if you're adding that to just your relatively healthy meal, you pretty much just ruined your meal right there with adding in all that sugar. This meal could have been a lot healthier if this sauce wasn't included. So one thing that I wanted to show here was, let's say you take, you eat all whole foods your whole day, except maybe for breakfast you throw in your green juice. You have the yogurt. Let's see what else. Actually, let's do the oatmeal instead. We'll do some oatmeal, and then what else do I have? Oh, our meat. So let's say just this is all you have for your day of processed foods. Everything else is meat, vegetables, things that have natural whole foods. So if this is all you have all day, this brings us, I measured this out ahead of time, we have right around 28 teaspoons of sugar right here, and that's about around maybe 110, 120 grams of sugar just from this little bit of food here. And let's pour this out on the plate. So this is in one day with just these 4 items. And that's only 1 serving of the meat sauce, not the whole bag. So hopefully you guys can see that mound of sugar and how much is on there. This is insane. I hope you guys are as opened up to this or flabbergasted as I was. I mean, this is simple things that people eat every day, and this probably is only 1/4 of what some people have, and people just don't know, and the more that we can get this out there, the better. I hope this wakes some of you guys up. It's just incredible to see. The U.S. has put out recommendations for the amount of sugar that's healthy or safe to have. Yeah, I wouldn't say healthy, that's safe to have a day. And for men, it's 9 teaspoons, 9 teaspoons. And for women, it's 6 teaspoons. And right here, so I could easily eat this in probably 1 meal, really. So just right here, this is, like I was saying, about 28 teaspoons. And for me, for a female, I'm supposed to have no more than 6 a day to stay safe. This is about 4.5 times the amount of recommended sugar in a day, which even 1/4 of that is still, in my opinion, too much. So hopefully you guys can start to look at your food labels, look at the amount of sugar in there, the added sugars, start to read the ingredient list and see where sugar falls on that list. Also, there's about probably 50 to 100 different names for sugar out there. So try to get yourself familiar with the different names. They're hidden out there. There's high fructose corn syrup. There's concentrated apple juice that they use as a sweetener, cane syrup, organic cane syrup, all the things that end in ose, that's some type of a sweetener, sugar. And one last thing to throw out there is, even if you guys think using artificial sweeteners that don't have real grams of sugar in them, when you taste something sweet like that, it still will spike your insulin up and you'll still have a similar response as if you were actually eating something that contains sugar in it. So just those sweet receptors going off in your mouth will still have that effect. So what's the answer? Stick to meat, stick to nuts and seeds, and stick to fruits and vegetables, and you will be safe. And stay away from all of this processed food or all of these things that have been taken out all the good natural packaging, which is the whole fruit itself. So this is kind of interesting, just real quick. This juice contains 1 apple, 1/3 of a pineapple, a mango, half banana, and half of a kiwi. And how easy is it to down this compared to having all of that fruit sitting out in front of you to eat? So just think about that for a second. So thanks for watching. I hope this makes sense for you guys, and hopefully I got the message across clearly enough. And if you guys still want to sign up for this, it's never too late. You can just go right up on our page. If you click on Operation Change Springfield, right on our main picture, there's a link that says sign up, and you can go right on there and sign up. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.